possibilities, to use our imaginations. For if we consider that astroscientists agree on one point, that the possibility of life elsewhere is not only quite probable, some feel it is there without a doubt. Let us suppose then that these objects are real space vehicles, extraterrestrial in origin, and not an illusion of the mind.
There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide at all.
Yeah, I know. You're so right. Oh, hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Somewhere in the Live Stream. I am your host, Ryan Sprague. Welcome to the spooky studio. This is my friend Skelty joining us tonight. Little Hamlet joke there for you guys. How do you like it? I got a ghost, I got a black cat, I got the X-Files, a skull. We are ready. It is spooky season. And to celebrate spooky season, welcome to Haunted Horror in the chat. I want to know who that is. That is an awesome handle. That's so cool. I see our regulars here. Joseph, Robert, Garrett's here. J. Ellen Heineken, Lucy's here. James Craig. Ian is here. Welcome, Jamie. Trudy. Hi, guys. So good to see you. Kurt Savage. Did I say Robert yet? Hi, Robert. Let's see. Pat Gallagher is here. Of course, Super Crean. Guillaume is here. Donnie Falls. Mars TP. So many of you. Too many to say hello. Awesome, guys. This is so cool. Happy Halloween season. What's everyone got planned this spooky season? You watching anything good? Any good horror movies? I'm going tomorrow to see Good Boy. Now, for those of you who don't know what Good Boy is, it is a movie that is completely from the perspective of a dog, and it's a horror movie. So everything that dog sees, you see. You know how they say animals are more sensitive to those types of things. This entire movie is from the perspective of a dog. I've heard really heart-wrenching things about it, scary things, good things too. So I'm looking forward to it. I always like a good gimmick in a movie. You know, we had that movie Presence come out this past year where we were the ghost and we were haunting the house, basically. That was a really interesting one. You know, yeah, we've had other movies that have been from the perspective of like a serial killer and stuff like that. But this will be really interesting. The perspective of a dog, to say the least. Joseph asks, back in Scotland, Ryan? Yes, back in the spooky studio. I'm back home from Shag Harbour, Nova Scotia. I was there for 9 days. I went to the Shag Harbour UFO XPO, which you are going to hear not tomorrow, but next week. You're going to hear a full review of the Shag Harbour UFO XPO, all about the speakers, the crazy stuff that Paul Kimball and I got up to at that event, and so much more. We give our full, brutally honest review of the Shag Harbour UFO XPO. But it was so good to be back in Nova Scotia with, of course, my good friend and colleague, Paul Kimball. I'll be heading back to Nova Scotia at the end, I should say in the middle of November, for a job. And then holidays start, and who knows from there, guys. But we got a lot of catching up to do, UFO-wise, before all of that happens. What did I want to tell you guys? Oh, before I forget, huge favor, rate and review the Somewhere in the Skies podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. I want to get this all out of the way before we get to the UFO news this week with you guys, because there's a lot to cover. Rate and review on Apple. And in your review, here's the code word this time for you guys. Make sure when you go to Apple and you give us that, whatever, 2-star rating, 5-star rating, I don't care. Just rate it. In the review section, put Belgian waffle. That'll play into tonight's UFO news. If you're over on Spotify, you can rate the show over there, and now you can leave comments on episodes. So in this episode on Spotify in the future, I want you to write the words Belgian waffle. There you go. Suzanne put it on the screen for you guys there. That's how I'll know you watched this episode, you listened to this episode, and it'll be our little inside joke every week. We'll have different code words. So again, Apple, Spotify. Leave a comment on Spotify, Belgian Waffle. Leave a rating and review on Apple, Belgian Waffle. There you go. Okay, that's out of the way. There was one other thing. Oh, we put a poll up on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to vote in that. It connects to 3i Atlas, which we're going to talk about tonight. Some pretty crazy, exciting discoveries and revelations about that. So be sure to vote in that poll. We have a super chat goal tonight of 5 super chats of any size, doesn't matter. If we reach 5 super chats in this live stream tonight, guys, we will do for you this week a bonus episode where I talk about the top 5 alien abduction documentaries. So be sure to help us reach that goal tonight. Anything you can give. Super chat is open. Super stickers are open as well. If you want to donate via PayPal or buy me a coffee, we have QR codes you can scan right there on your screen, or the links to our PayPal and buy me a coffee are in the show notes as well. Those will go towards it as well, so that I will do that bonus episode for you guys. Banner day here on the show. I treated myself today to 2 amazing UFO related comic books. The first I'm going to share with you guys is our good friend Michael Oyming did the art for Red Book. Now, if you don't remember, Michael Oyming and John Tinian were the creators of Blue Book, which was the comic book based on Project Blue Book. It's still going, but they kind of are doing this side series now called Red Book, which is all about basically Russian UFO cases and or communist countries. I think they're going to be talking about China at one point, but right now they are deep into Russian UFOs, and this is number 1. It just came out a couple weeks ago, so I cannot recommend it enough. The art is amazing. Let's see if I can get a nice thing here for you. I mean, it's just gorgeous. That's like that crazy case where Russian naval guys went underwater and encountered aliens. They cover the the Dyatlov Pass incident where all the hikers went missing. Terribly tragic case. We did a whole episode on it in the archives. You can listen to that. But they posit the question: was it aliens? Was it Bigfoot? Stuff like that. So awesome comic. And then the one I'm really excited about, guys, is right here. High Strangeness by the creator of Spectre Vision Radio, Daniel Noah. Who else we got involved here? Chris Condon and Dave Chisholm as well. This is book 1 of High Strangeness. Wow. Which covers the Men in Black and UFOs. This is such a cool series from Daniel Noah. Again, you might even hear an ad at the top of this episode for it on the podcast. But Spectre Vision Radio, the incredible podcast network we're on now, is now doing comic books. So they do movies, podcasts, and now a comic book. Each book will cover a different topic. This I guess issue or book is all about, like I said, Men in Black and UFOs. But next time they're going to be covering Bigfoot. So yeah, super cool book. Again, incredible art. I just cannot recommend it enough. So yeah, definitely a comic book day here at Somewhere in the Skies HQ. But my God, have I preambled enough? We're going on 11 minutes now. We got to get to the UFO news, guys, because there's a lot to cover with you guys tonight. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Ray. Hi, guys. Good to see you in the chat. I'll be checking that every now and again. Oh, Michelle, thank you so much for the super chat. That's one. We've reached one of our for our goal tonight, guys. If you can't tell, I'm a little energized because I've got coffee. I've got a huge bottle of water, and yes, I broke down and got a beer. So I'm having a beer with you guys tonight. See what I do for you guys for this live stream. I've been doing so good. I've lost 12 pounds. I'm down 12 pounds. That got ruined in Nova Scotia, I can tell you that much. But now it's going to get ruined even more with this Guinness. Ooh. Oh my God, I missed that. Ooh. Ryan is off the wagon, y'all. I shouldn't joke about that. Oh, Guinness is good. Get to the news, Garrett says. I'm still sick too, guys, so I do apologize. I'm going to mute my mic for a sec. It was a disgusting cough. Trust me, you did not want to hear that. Hello, Sir Gosbo. Good to see you here. Cheers, guys. Cheers. What are you drinking? What's everyone drinking tonight? Let me know in the chat. What? Loaf of bread in every bottle. That's so true. Super Green, thank you so much for the super chat. Truly appreciate that. That's two of our 5 guys. Keep them going. Help support us. We'll do a bonus episode for you guys this week. I got that cough. Welcome back to the UK. Garrett says, yeah, everyone here's sick. Apparently, there's a new strain of COVID in Ireland. I don't have COVID. I got checked. Caught something on the plane, I think. Hello, Jeffrey. Good to see you. What am I doing? We have so much news, and I'm just like rambling on. I'm a rambling man. Let's go to Belgium. Anyone want to come in? Come on. Come on. Come with me. Going to Belgium. We're going to Belgium because I want to yell at whoever did this. So this story comes to us from the Daily Mail, of course. Belgian UFO sighting memorial removed at family's request. Why? Why are they getting rid of it? I don't like that. So Belgium has lost a curious piece of its UFO folklore after authorities in Ilter quietly removed Western Europe's only monument dedicated to UFOs. Boo. The marble memorial, located by a roadside in eastern Flanders, was dismantled at the request of the family of the late Marin van der Kruisen, a Belgian paratrooper who claimed to have witnessed 5 massive silver saucers hovering above Lotenhoel on July 21st, 1955, which is Belgium's National Day. We're losing a piece of Belgian folklore, said Frederick Delors, manager of the country's UFO reporting helpline. There are a lot of people who are not happy that they have removed it, he said. The monument had only been restored earlier this year to mark the 70th anniversary of the alleged sighting. So van der Kruisen, then 18 when this happened and on leave from the army, was riding on his father's motorbike when he saw a roadside crowd pointing skyward. He later described witnessing 5 enormous circular craft, each at least 100 meters in diameter, hovering for 10 minutes before vanishing. Deeply affected by the experience, he convinced Ilter's authorities in 2004 to erect a stone memorial showing the UFO formation alongside his 1955 photograph. This stone will be an eternal memory when they come, van der Kruisen said in its unveiling. They will come, he said. Locals such as Councillor Dirk de Smoel remembered the story as a collective memory that was long kept quiet about because no one really knew what others would think. Last paragraph here. Following van der Kruisen's death in 2020, his family sought to distance themselves from the attention that the monument attracted. Acting through a lawyer, they persuaded the municipality to remove it, and its current location remains unknown. Van der Kruisen personally admitted there were inconsistencies between his story and the recorded weather that day. He talked about it a lot, and he did so with some imagination, you could say. That's what the UFO people said. But he was a good man. Writer Camille de Boin, who featured the stone in his bizarre Belgium travel guide as one of the nation's strangest landmarks, lamented the decision, saying, quote, "I think it's a pity. It's his life's work, and it's been taken away." That sucks. That'd be like going to Roswell and like they got rid of the plaque in the ground there. Now I know this case clearly isn't as famous as Roswell, but still. Like, why? What is the harm? Like, the guy passed away at this point. Like, this happened in 1955. How much harm could keeping the plaque there truly cause this family? Let's just be honest. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't think thousands of people are flocking to this plaque and then going to the family and being like, "Ha ha, Van Cruisen was crazy. Your whole family's crazy." It just doesn't make any sense. What if we sneak off to Belgium and put up another plaque? Suzanne says. She's got me coughing. I'm in. I am in. How far is Belgium from Edinburgh? Someone look that up for me. What? Suzanne said this much, so that solves it for me. I have to convert this. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just going up in the chat here. Maybe the plaque had a few grains of element 115 in it, Zenzaville says. It's possible. It is possible. They drew more attention taking it down, Lucy says. Yeah, rather than leaving it up. What a good point. Yeah, the best way they could have just left this thing, left it to seed. God, let the weeds grow up over it. No one will ever see it again if they don't want to. Come on. Yeah, anyways, that's a sad story. But let's get to a happier story, shall we? There it is, guys. An actual photo of 3I No, I'm just kidding. This is not a real photo, clearly. Don't be going and sharing this and saying it is. I see you. Yeah, you. Yeah, don't. We have some very exciting, very groundbreaking revelations about 3I Atlas. And no, it's not what you think. It's not that we've proved it's an alien spacecraft, but 3I Atlas is super wet and super old. Astronomers just made a wild discovery about the interstellar comet 3I Atlas. It's spewing out water like a fire hose at full blast, is what scientists are saying. Using NASA's Swift Observatory, scientists picked up a faint ultraviolet signal that revealed huge amounts of water vapor streaming off of the comet, even though it was nearly 3 times further from the sun than the Earth is. That's surprising because at that distance, sunlight shouldn't be strong enough to melt ice. So this team of scientists working on 3I Atlas, they calculated that the comet is losing around 40 kilograms of water every single second, meaning at least 8% of its surface must be actively venting, way higher than most comets in our solar system. To explain this crazy level of activity, researchers think 3I Atlas might be shedding icy chunks into space that vaporize when hit by the sunlight, like mini geysers orbiting the comet. Infrared data seems to back this up, showing debris that could be feeding its enormous water cloud. What's really fascinating is how different this comet is from the other interstellar visitors that we've seen so far. Oumuamua barely showed any water at all, while Comet Borisov was loaded with carbon monoxide. Each one seems to tell a different story about how planetary systems form, suggesting our cosmic neighborhood might be a lot more diverse than we ever imagined. But, guys, that's not it. We may also be narrowing in on where 3I Atlas came from and how old it is. Let's go. So, I started watching this YouTube channel that's been covering Three Eye Atlas, and basically it's like a daily place I go for my space news now. Besides the debrief, that's like number one. But this dude's name is Fraser Kane. I have a link in the show notes to his YouTube channel, so you can check that out, or just search for Fraser Kane. That's Cain. He does wonderful videos, and he did an awesome one recently on Three Eye Atlas. I cannot recommend it enough. And what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to play a clip of Fraser talking about where the possible origins of Three Eye Atlas might be and how old it actually is, which is super, super cool. And then we will obviously tackle the alien spaceship theory, because I know that's what some of y'all thinking. Some of you probably voted for it right on YouTube. Go vote in the poll. I'm going to get this video going. Let's listen to Fraser Kane talk about the possible origins and age of Three Eye Atlas. Let's give this a watch. Got to pull it up. Give me one sec. Here we go.
Orbit of the comet, astronomers were able to make some really interesting calculations about where it might have come from. So the first paper on this came out almost immediately from Matthew Hopkins and others, and they calculated the trajectory of the comet and estimated that it came from the thick disk of the Milky Way, a region that is metal poor. And they predict that it's probably around 7.6 billion years old, which would make it the oldest object that has ever been found in the solar system. Everything inside the solar system formed with the sun 4.5 billion years ago. And so here's something that is billions of years older than anything we have in the solar system. And then on September 9th, X. Perez Couto and others calculated the historical journey of Comet 3I Atlas. Did it really come from the region that had been estimated? They wanted to know if various stellar flybys throughout its history could have changed its trajectory very much. And they were able to find 93 encounters with stars throughout 10 million years of its history. But when they added up all of those encounters, they found they were minimal. The closest encounter was about 0.3 light years away from another star, and only ended up changing its velocity by 0.5 meters per second, which is insignificant. And they estimated that the age of the comet is somewhere between 3 and 11 billion years old. And again, came from a system which has a low metallicity, which matches this observation that it has a high amount of carbon dioxide relative to water.
All right. So that thing is old as hell, and that thing is from very far away. That is my limited way of saying it. Pretty damn cool, if you ask me. Billions of years older than our own solar system. I mean, you can't even wrap your head around that, right? Like how far this thing came in like light years, like wherever it came from, where it originated, took that long to get here. It's just stunning to even think about that. Crazy stuff. So this pass by our sun is a very close encounter compared to its past visits to other star systems, Sensible says. Very good point. Yeah, and I will get to that in a minute. It's going to go behind the sun where we will lose it again, but it will eventually, as most things do, get slingshotted back. So we will get another chance to see three eye Atlas, and possibly closer than ever before. Now, the Mars Perseverance rover, I believe, was able to snap some images of this. Different telescopes have been able to snap. Satellites have been able to get photos of this thing, but they're still very, very far away. But when this thing comes back again, hopefully we'll get some more information on it. But before we do that, talk of the town is it's an alien spaceship, right? You know, Kane mentioned in that clip there of the trajectory of this thing. And at first, they believed the trajectory and the maneuvers were a little odd. Some people said that there was no cometary tail. That's been disproven at this point. There is a cometary tail on this thing. And there's endless clickbait videos here, right here on YouTube. I mean, you type in 3i Atlas, you're going to get hundreds of pages of alien spaceship, alien spaceship, alien spaceship. And this all kind of started with one man. Yes, him. I don't know what he's saying now, if he's still going with that, but it started this just fury of speculation that this could be an artificial object, like he said about Oumuamua as well. But it's Avi Loeb. I don't know why I'm being coy. And you know, he's made some pretty bold claims lately about this possibly being an alien spaceship. So Fraser Kane addresses this in this next clip. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you guys. And I just want to play this because there's a time and a place to talk UFOs and aliens. You're going to hear a fascinating interview this week on the Somewhere in the Skies podcast that Suzanne and I did with Becky Ferreira, a space reporter, where all we do is talk about aliens. But when we know for a fact, basically a fact, I mean, we can't know 100%, obviously, that this is a comet. It's frustrating to see how sensational this has become in this thing possibly being an alien spaceship. This anti-science world we live in today just is so depressing. But that's besides the point. Let's go ahead and watch this clip about the possibility or lack thereof of 3i Atlas being an alien spaceship. One sec. Here we go.
What's the elephant in the room? Is it an alien spacecraft? Well, there's no evidence to believe that it is. Now, you can never rule it out. It could always be an alien spacecraft, but if you're going to make the claim that it is an alien spacecraft, you've got to have some kind of evidence that says that it's that other than mere coincidence. One science paper comes from Avi Loeb, and he is proposing that this is, in fact, an alien spacecraft. He's also been writing on his blog all of the interesting, unusual, anomalous behavior that this comet is experiencing, and recently gave it a 30 to 40% chance of being an alien spacecraft. He identifies 9 anomalies that indicate that it's an alien spacecraft. For example, how large it is, the chemical composition of its coma. 4 of these criteria he assumes are going to be better understood with upcoming observations with telescopes, but 5 of them can't be explained. For example, the fact that it's coming in very close to the plane of the ecliptic, that it's going to make relatively close flybys of Mars and the Sun and Jupiter. But these can also be explained by coincidences. None of these are things that a comet can't do. They're just a collection of interesting features of this object. And if you're going to make a claim that this is an alien spacecraft, you have to identify things that it's doing that comets and asteroids just can't do. So there was a paper that came out from James Davenport and others, and they talk about 4 different criteria that you would expect to see if it's not just a comet, something more like an alien spacecraft. For example, you'd be looking at an anomalous trajectory. If it started to decelerate heavily in a way that a comet just wouldn't do it, or if it had an anomalous spectra or colors, if it was purple, if it was made of chrome or carbon fiber or some other material that you wouldn't expect a comet to be made of. It could have an anomalous shape. Instead of being roughly a sphere or a rubble pile, it could be shaped like an arrow or shaped like a triangle or shaped like a bored cube. Or it could give off some kind of transmission, like radio signals that you would not expect to see coming from a comet. Those are the kinds of lines of evidence that you would want to see to be able to support the claim that it's an alien technology. And this is just a fraction of the papers that have been coming out about 3i Atlas. These are the big ones. There have been a lot of others as well. Although the scientific community disagrees with Avi Loeb and the claims that he's making about the nature of 3i Atlas, there are a lot of people here on YouTube that are making completely baseless claims. they're just jumping on the bandwagon. They're taking part in this excitement over this object, and they're making a lot of really baseless claims with no scientific underpinnings of what they're saying. And the problem is that it's really hard for people to know what is good information, what's bad information. So my hope is that you can go and you can look at all of these different journal papers, and you can follow these and understand the sources that I'm quoting for the things that I'm saying about this comet. And I will continue to do that as we move into the future.
I love it. I love it. Sensible, right? Guys, I mean, I want this to be an alien spaceship just as much as anyone else. But come on. Like, let's be excited that we've got our third interstellar object coming into our solar system. Think of how many have been in our solar system that we never knew about because we weren't able to detect them. And now we've had 3 in like 2 years. That's crazy. There will be hundreds and thousands in the coming years. And one of those could turn out to be, you know what? Doesn't mean it's going to be the third one. But yeah, interesting nonetheless. So basically, sometime in December is when we're going to be able to see this thing again. So that's when we could start doing more science. So it's exciting. It's exciting nonetheless. So yeah, I put the poll up. What do you guys think it is? Alien spaceship, comet, or something else up on YouTube? I want to know. We'll go to your votes at the end of the show. So be sure you vote in that. I sound pretty damn skeptical, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope Fraser Kane is wrong. I hope all the skeptics are wrong and it is an alien spaceship. Because right now, Avi Loeb's credibility has kind of waned when it comes to this stuff. And look, he's been on the show several times. I want to support this guy. The Galileo Project, awesome. His work, out in the ocean with the spherals, awesome. But then he does stuff like this, and it's just like, dude, stop. It's the planet killer, Pat says. No. Is it Galactus? Did you guys see Fantastic Four? What'd you think of Fantastic Four? Let me know in the chat. Excuse me. I'm so sorry about the cough, guys. So unattractive. Let's move on from interstellar objects to other objects. And guess what happened? Hold on. I'm trying. I'm not a good whistler. Why are Mulder and Scully in the desert, you may ask, if you're watching this on YouTube? It's because a UFO crashed at Area 51. And the FBI is investigating it. No, I'm not kidding. A UAP crashed at Area 51. That's the headline. There's no other way to put it. This is incredible. Incredible. In late September 2025, an unidentified craft from the 432nd Wing crashed in the Nevada desert about 24 miles from Area 51, sparking immediate secrecy and speculation. The 432nd Wing, based at Creech Air Force Base, typically operates MQ Reaper drones. That sound familiar, guys? Yep, exactly, Suzanne. Hellfire missile video, anybody? So they typically operate the Reaper drones out there, but the Air Force did not confirm the type of aircraft that was involved in this crash, thus keeping it a UAP or a UAV, whatever you want to call it. The Federal Aviation Administration swiftly established a temporary flight restriction over the area for national security reasons, and the military secured the entire perimeter. Cleanup operations were reportedly completed by September 27th with no fatalities or injuries reported. That's good. Though officials remained tight-lipped about exactly what went down and why. But this is where the story takes a very strange turn, guys. I'm going to go ahead and play this news clip from 8 News Now, out of Las Vegas, I believe. And yeah, we'll dive a little bit deeper into the UAP that crashed at Area 51. I can't believe I'm saying this in 2025. Craziness. But give this news clip a watch.
Investigation into a, quote, incident involving a military aircraft near Area 51 is intensifying after the Air Force discovered, quote, tampering and materials in the desert. The News Now investigators first to tell you late last month about that incident near Area 51 involving a military aircraft. The FAA even ordered all planes away from that area above Lincoln County, not far from the secret military installation. Well, after cleaning up the site, a spokesperson for Creech Air Force Base, where they fly drones, says, quote, investigators discovered signs of tampering at the mishap location, including the presence of an inert training bomb body and an aircraft panel of unknown origin. Remember, that's after they say they cleaned this all up. Right now, the Air Force and the FBI are investigating. Meantime, the Dreamland Resort, that's a website devoted to tracking activity in and around Area 51, reports the incident was an unmanned aerial vehicle crash.
Okay. So they mentioned that the FBI got involved because there was tampering with the crash site and things were discovered there after the cleanup. What? If that doesn't scream cover up to me, I don't know what is. What did they find? They said something to do with a bomb and then like a piece of metal from an aircraft. It's like they went and put stuff there to make it look like it was something other than what it had actually crashed. I mean, that's what I'm obviously making a uneducated assumption on, but tampering with a UAP crash site that's crazy. Like, this wasn't some desert rat going out there and like putting stuff there and trying to create a myth, or was it? My guess is that it's a new super secret USAF experimental plane, Sensibil says. Maybe even some CIA related experimental aircraft, and the UAV is just a cover story. Interesting. Now, Sensible, to play off of that there, they mentioned the website. What is it? Groom Lake Resort, is it? No, sorry, Dreamland Resort. Dreamlandresort.com, which is run by a gentleman named George Arnew, who we actually have reported on in the past on the show. This is the dude whose home was like raided by the FBI because of his Area 51 website and things he was collecting, evidence, locations, mapping the areas and stuff. Like, his home actually got raided by the FBI. They kicked his door in and like never fixed it or anything. He was like homeless for like 3 days or something while they were like raiding his home. I don't know whatever happened with that, but this dude definitely didn't give up. And after he heard about this UAP crash out there near Area 51, of course, our good friend George Arnew was a desert rat, and he went to the crash site like a boss, and he got some video of himself doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and play this exclusive video that he put on the dreamlandresort.com website and YouTube about what he found there and kind of what went down and his thoughts and assumptions. But you're going to watch in real time as he drives out to the crash site and shows what remains out there as well. So this is pretty interesting. Let's give this a watch.
Saturday, September 27th, and I just came by Groom Lake Road. Look at that. No more roadblock. Groom Lake Road, as of right now, is open to the public again. The two porta potties are still sitting there, but everybody is gone, and you got a clear shot to the Groom Lake Road gate of Area 51. So I'm gonna see if I can get to the crash site. Wish me luck. Holy smokes, I made it. This is the end of the tracks. Right here. This is the crash site. This is where that drone crashed a few days ago. Nobody here. No wreckage inside. I'm going to do a little poking around and see what I can find. But this is it. And this is the hill we were looking at from a great distance. Way back over there where the corral is. We can see that this is a very small area of disturbed ground, and they brought it out on this road. Let's see if we can find the impact crater. This is what the crash site looks like from the other side. A really small area of disturbed ground, and it looks like right in the center that could be a burn mark, a burnt Joshua tree. This would have been an interesting place to be a few days ago at 12:37 in the morning. Lots of tracks, but nobody around. And so far I haven't found any debris. The desert has a way of washing up the debris, even if it might be buried in the dirt. After good rains, sometimes debris washes back to the surface. So I will certainly come back here and do some more digging. I'm just very surprised that the site has been opened that quickly. Back there in the distance you can see where Groom Lake Road leads into Area 51. And panning around to the mountain range. I think that is Tikaboo Peak. I'm not entirely certain. It looks different from this angle, but I will verify that on Google Earth. And all kinds of tracks. I saw some footprints. They really cleaned this up very well. But I guarantee you that there are still pieces left. There's always something left.
There's always something left. I love that. And apparently, there was enough left there that the FBI had to come investigate. Which is crazy. Crazy stuff. Sorry. I just have to put this image back up. So George is going to go back and dig and look for pieces. Awesome. Please do. Some analysts believe it was simply an MQ-9 Reaper drone lost during a classified training exercise. Others suspect it may have been a next-generation stealth or reconnaissance vehicle undergoing testing out of Groom Lake or another secretive facility. But the secrecy surrounding the crash, coupled with the tampering and FBI involvement, has only deepened public curiosity and fueled theories ranging from espionage to advanced technology testing. For now, the incident remains an open and highly classified investigation, leaving observers to wonder whether what fell near Area 51 was just another drone or something far more significant. All right. Will we ever know? Probably not. But interesting. It just gets weirder and weirder. Like if it had just been a top secret thing being tested out at Area 51 that crashed, was recovered, cleaned up, fine. But the fact that like the FBI had to get involved because they probably went back to make sure they got everything. They're like, what the hell? What is this stuff doing out here? That's crazy. Crazy, crazy. So I don't know. Good luck to George. I hope we'll get some developments on this story as well. Before we take a quick commercial break here, guys, I do want to give a special shout out. And I swear I didn't mean to do this. I said 5 super chats. I just went to YouTube and I accidentally set it at 10 super chats. I did not mean to do it. I swear to God. I just went there and it said 4 or 5 of 9 of 10 or something. So I guess our goal was 10 super chats tonight. So if you want to help out the show, you can still do that. Help us reach 10 super chats or super stickers tonight. And we will do a bonus episode this week for you guys on the top 5 best alien abduction documentaries. I want to give a shout out once again to Michelle for the super chat, to Super Cream for the super chat, to Garrett as well for the super chat, to Joseph, to Ian, and to Michelle. Once again, thank you so much, guys. Truly do appreciate that. What do you call those? PayPal, buy me a coffee. Those count as well. I have not checked those, so I'll go back and make sure that if anyone did, I'll thank you as well as we go to the commercial break. Okay. So let's take a commercial break and let's come back. We're going to be talking about Christopher Mellon, who just came out with a pretty bold article in, I believe, the San Francisco Chronicle. So we're going to talk about that. A new UFO witness has come forward on the Weaponized podcast who was supposed to testify at the most recent UAP hearing with Congress. Why didn't he testify? What was it he was going to testify about? We will talk about that after the break as well. A new whistleblower has come forward, not a quote-unquote UFO whistleblower, but a Space Force Space Command whistleblower who had some interesting things to share on LinkedIn, of all places. This is where we're at, guys. Whistleblowers are now coming forward with like bombshell information on their LinkedIn profiles. So I don't know. That's going to cause some issues, I think, with whistleblower protections, if I've ever heard it. But interesting nonetheless. So we're going to talk all about that. And we're going to get a preview of the Seoul Symposium that's taking place in Italy next week. We're going to cover all of this with Suzanne when we come back from the break. So stick around and we will be right back. Grab a beer, grab a water, grab a coffee, do what you got to do. We'll see you in about 45 seconds to a minute, guys. And we'll be right back to somewhere in the live stream. Thanks for joining us. Greetings, everyone. Ryan Sprague here, host of Somewhere in the Skies. For over 7 years and more than 400 episodes, the Somewhere in the Skies podcast has always been free to listen to, but it's not free to create. So we offer several ways to help support our efforts and get rewards in return. If you listen to the podcast on Apple, you can click the subscribe button at the top of your Somewhere in the Skies feed to become a premium Apple subscriber. Or you can join our Patreon campaign with several tiers available. Both of these options give you the same benefits and rewards: ad-free episodes, early access to the main show, and bonus episodes and content. Help keep the lights on at the Somewhere in the Skies HQ, and help us continue to grow by becoming a Patreon subscriber at patreon.com/somewhereskies, or by clicking the subscribe button at the top of your Apple feed. Thank you for your continued support, and keep looking up. All right, we are back. Someone said, "Can you make the break 10 minutes? I got to go out and make a cocktail and smoke a cigarette." We don't have time because my dumbass talked for like 20 minutes at the top of the show. I'm so sorry, guys, but I love catching up with you. It's been like 3 weeks since we did a live stream. I'm so sorry. It's so good to be back. I missed you guys. Hopefully we'll have one next week. At least I will. Someone else will be very busy in Italy, and we're going to talk all about that. But let's bring her in. The one, the only Suzanne Landers is here with us. I cannot wait to catch up with her. There she is.
Hi.
Boom. How are you?
I'm good. You've been a world traveler. We've missed you.
Thank you. I missed you guys too. I know. God. And of course I got sick again, as
Of
I
course.
always do. But like I mentioned at the top of the show, it was so good to be back in my, I guess, my third home now,
Yeah.
Nova Scotia. I feel like I've lived in Nova Scotia more than Scotia, Scotland, in the past couple of years, which I think I have collectively, to be honest. But
Yeah.
no, it's good to be back and hanging out in my actual apartment, making food, and it just feels like I'm an actual person.
Isn't that a strange thing about it's wonderful to eat out and go run around the planet and whatnot, but there's something about coming home to your own kitchen, to your own food. I don't know what that is. I get the bed thing where you're sleeping in your own bed with your own pillow, but there's also something about the kitchen.
I will say this: I don't miss my bed. I don't.
Oh,
I
you
don't care
don't?
for my bed so much, to be honest.
No.
Well, that's the thing here in the UK, at least in Scotland. And this may sound gross to some of you, but everything is furnished when you move into an apartment here. So, like, coming from the States to a new country, that was awesome. Like, I didn't have to buy furniture. I didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. But that comes with a bed. So I basically inherited someone else's bed, which again, some of you are like, ew, gross, like bed bugs, like who knows how long that's been there. Which is true. But you know, like we couldn't afford bed when we first moved here. So we kind of just kept it. We've
Yeah.
since switched out mattresses like 2 or 3 times at this point. But yeah, I will be honest. I love me a nice hotel bed.
Do you?
Yeah, I
Do
do.
ya?
I do.
Yeah.
Because usually the pillows are perfect. The covers are wrapped so tight. I don't have time for that here in Scotland. I don't have time to be doing that stuff. So it feels good to get pampered every now
I
and again,
bet. I
right?
bet. And as a non-sleeper, someone who, if there is a buzz 3 doors down or something, I'm awake. My own bed is everything. In fact, I was
Yeah.
laughing with my husband last night because we're headed to Italy in a week. So, can I just take my bed? Like the kings and queens used to do.
Bring their whole
Pack
bed.
it up, ship it over, pack it, break it down, send it back.
I love that. I love that. Let me know how that works out.
I
I'm sure.
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even get a laugh out of him, so I don't think it went very well. But
He's like, I'm over it.
he's over it. She's
I'm-
so high maintenance. I'm ignoring all
I'm
that.
going to a UFO conference in Italy with you. Don't start cracking
Exactly.
bed jokes.
Exactly. Yeah. I got
I
to
love
mind
it.
my P's and Q's and behave myself.
Yeah. Well, we will talk about that at the end of the show. I
Yeah,
can't wait
I'm
to
excited.
hear. Yeah, about Soul Symposium. Got some awesome speakers coming to that. But
Some really
let's-
different ones. Yeah.
yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, some
Yeah.
names I've never heard of. So
Right.
I'm gonna get your thoughts on that.
Absolutely.
Let's start with this guy.
Oh,
Haven't-
Mr. Mellon, one of my faves.
Right? We haven't really heard from him in a while.
He's been really quiet. I know there was some traveling involved. We are connected through an association, so I hear a little bit about him every once in a while.
Mhm.
But I think we start this conversation with he's a cool cucumber. He doesn't get his feathers ruffled. That temper isn't on display. I mean, I don't think there is a temper. I think he's just a really cool, calm guy.
Mhm.
So what we're about to talk about, it seems to me how Mr. Mellon shows us he's had enough.
He sounds frustrated. Yeah.
He sounds frustrated.
In this article. Yeah. So this came out in the San Francisco Chronicle. It was an op-ed piece. I'm gonna read a little bit here.
Sure, go for it.
Suzanne, and then we'll discuss. Christopher Mellon calls out the government for unlawful hiding of UFO files. So in the San Francisco Chronicle, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, Chris Mellon, argues that the U.S. government is withholding a vast cache of UFO records that should be released. With over 30 years in intelligence, Mellon describes a pattern of excessive secrecy where UAP data detected by advanced systems has been unjustifiably buried or overclassified. He recalls helping to release the 3 Navy UAP videos in 2017, which forced the Pentagon to acknowledge the phenomenon, but says the intelligence community has since tightened restrictions and slowed transparency to a trickle. Mellon contends this secrecy undermines democracy and national security, arguing most UAP records are decades old and pose no threat if released. Overclassification, which is a buzzword for our good friend John Greenwald over at the Black
Absolutely.
Wolf.
Couldn't agree more with him on that point.
Yep, same. Overclassification conceals inconvenient truths, erodes trust, and may violate federal law, forbidding classification to prevent embarrassment. I'm going to fast forward here. Beyond legislation, Mellon's nonprofit, the UAP Disclosure Fund, is filing Freedom of Information Act requests and will litigate, if necessary, to obtain withheld evidence from a 1948 flying disc photos to modern reports. That's very specific.
What could it be talking about? Could it be Roswell? I don't know.
Speaking of, I gotta promote our little Roswell thing that came out this past week after this story before I forget. Yeah. So basically, he's ready. He's ready to throw down legally. That's what the UAP Disclosure Fund is for. That's what the UAPDA represents. This idea of like getting these files out via like the National Archives and stuff like that. So again, you mentioned you are working with the UAP Disclosure Fund in a periphery way with your group. So what do you think of this article coming out? And what do you think is most important about this article coming out now?
First of all, I'm really proud of him, and I'm proud of his tone, because the minute somebody on this topic starts to show temper or out and out frustration, they'll get shot down, and they attract attention for that instead of what they're trying to talk about. So this calm, collected perspective is absolutely what needs to be up front. And the group may remember that I'm part of the Disclosure Advocacy Group, which is a flank of lawyers that has now been folded into the UAPDF. I always get it backwards. And then when I try to fix it, I screw it up. Anyway, so this FOIA thing, I think, is really big. The analysis going on to determine where to send highly specific, well-researched FOIA request is what's happening. This isn't an opportunity just to throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and see what sticks. So I think what he's saying here to the government is, you get it in line or we're going to help you with that problem. And, we'll see. We'll see. Overclassification is our number one issue. It is ridiculous that things from the 1940s are not available unless you're hiding a secret. And then it makes perfect sense. And so it's time. There's an automatic, is it 20 or 25 years? Where there's an automatic review on certain documents. So those things are being organized. What's out there right now that matters, that is subject, number one, to an automatic declassification review or release review. So some serious thought going here in this thing by some really, really bright people.
Yeah. Now, I know there's a lot of, behind the scenes, a lot of chatter when it comes to the UAPDA and everything that's going on with that. And, you and I have talked in the past about, what we think is really good about the UAPDA and what we think needs to change. And my question for you is, do we know where that is right now, where the UAPDA stands? Have you heard anything?
Yes, I know right where that thing is. And you can find that answer at www.hotmess.com because that thing, it's like a zombie. It's walking.
I'm afraid to put that in my web browser and see what pops up stuff.
Yeah,
I love the joke.
Bad. Don't actually go there.
It was a great joke, but I'm afraid to put
Don't anybody Google that. Anyway, it's just stuck. It's just stuck. And I think that Mr. Mellon's article is probably related. Timing of Mr. Mellon's article is probably related to that problem as well, because that is going nowhere fast. And I highly suspect, I don't know this, I highly suspect it's back on the topic of eminent domain. But then with all the shenanigans going on in DC, it's hard to know, is this a substantive issue, a political issue, budgeting? I don't, who even knows? Everything's such a hot mess right now. So it's going nowhere is where it is right now. Absolutely nowhere.
going nowhere and quick. I love it.
Exactly.
Well, I could sense Mellon's frustration. And look,
Sure.
when you poke that bear like Mellon, look at what he did last time. He
Those
leaked
quiet
the
ones.
UAP videos, those
That's
Navy
right.
UAP videos, and everything changed after that. So,
It
like,
did.
this is someone you don't want to piss off. I'm just gonna say it.
Well, and that quiet determination, there's nothing like it on the planet. It's rarely the mouthpieces who are causing the big changes. It's the quiet ones with a will of steel. And that's the way I see Mr. Mellon. Not going to let go of the bone. And we'll see what happens. I loved how he basically ended his piece, though, where this is not just about classification and declassification, all that. It's also about honest government and an informed citizenry.
Yeah.
And because those two things are at the top of my list. Do I want to know what happened at Roswell? I do. But I also, even more so, want an honest government and an informed citizenry about it, right?
Yeah.
So,
right.
This isn't hard, people.
Well,
I guess unless you've been lying about it for, 100 years almost.
Right. And
80
like
years.
we look at all this from a UAP perspective, but think of the things that could change in government that aren't even UAP
Right.
related when it comes to transparency, overclassification, and whatnot. Like there's a billion different ways that could go that have absolutely nothing to do
Exactly.
with UAP. Yet, if we can get if this is our in, it's UAP. That's the
Then
end.
let's go. Let's go.
Let's shake up the government, baby. Like what better way? I don't know.
Well, well done, Mr. Mellon. Carry on, sir. Yeah. Carry on, sir. Yeah.
Calm, cool, collected until he goes all Jackie Chan on our asses.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see that, but who knows? We may. It'll be something to see if that happens, right?
Yeah. That dude's got a past that we don't know about.
That's
and I
right.
know it's got something to do with Kung Fu.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
Speaking of Kung Fu, I guess jujitsu, actually. Former jujitsu specialist Jeremy Corbell. This is the best transition I think I've ever had on the show. He did. I think jujitsu. He was like an expert, like a black belt or something in it. He and George Knapp recently released a weaponized podcast where they spoke to a UFO witness who apparently was supposed to testify at the UAP hearing alongside Dylan Borland.
Exactly.
At this thing. And Wiggins and,
doesn't that beg 10,000 questions all by itself?
It does, which I want to talk to you about because that's what I found most intriguing. The title of the episode was something like UFO witness who did not testify. And I'm like, oh, why?
Now we need to know about this one.
Yeah. Did they explain why he didn't testify? I will get to that. But a new UFO witness has come forward on Weaponized. His name is Daniel Gockerell. He is a U.S. Army Ranger, and he claimed to have witnessed the following above Eglin Air Force Base in Florida in 2006. So I'm going to play the clip from Weaponized of him explaining what he saw. It's a pretty it's a little lengthy, but not too bad.
It's worth it.
So it's worth it. I think you guys are definitely going to want to hear his story. So let me go ahead and pull this up with Daniel Gockerell. I don't know if he's still an active U.S. Army Ranger or former, if he's still in the military. I did not catch that. But nonetheless, Eglin Air Force Base, which has an interesting UFO history. Let's play this clip from Weaponized.
Oh, and let me add this too before you hit the play button. Please. Remember that Eglin, it's right on the Panhandle in Florida. It is not rural. It is, and when you fly into that area of Florida, you fly right almost next to the public airports, right next to Eglin almost. So people are everywhere, planes are everywhere. So just keep in perspective where this happened.
Interesting. See, I was imagining, like most places, it's a remote air. Wow. Okay. Yep. That changes a lot because this is a pretty traumatic thing.
It is.
That he talks about. So how more people haven't, reported this outside of the military, now that begs a question. So let's go ahead and listen to Daniel Gockerell here.
Ready.
I step outside and I look to my left, and about, I would say, 300-400 yards, there was a clearing, and surrounding this clearing is these high mass portable generator lights like they use on construction for in roadways that you see and stuff, and highways and stuff like that. And I saw Humvees, military personnel out there, look like, and some black SUVs. And I see hovering about 15 to 20 feet off the ground, this giant, maybe 300 or so feet in length aircraft. There was no visible cockpit, no visible like traditional fuselage or engine. Like I couldn't see it. It was different to me. So right about the time I get out and I notice this, it hovers. It goes straight up, and when I say hover, I don't mean in a traditional sense. So when you think about any fixed wing aircraft, any bird that we have known to man right now, even a rotary bird, it oscillates when it hovers. This just goes straight up and it's dead quiet. Nothing, not a sound. I could hear the buzzing from the generator lights, right? So this gets about to the canopy, like height, a little over the canopy, and does a slight bank and takes off, and it rips right over the canopy, like looks like it was heading northeast. And which I'm guessing, I honestly couldn't remember. Just, I don't know, sometimes you feel like your cardinal directions, like which way is home. Anyway, this aircraft, when it banks, I can see that it's a perfect triangle, and it's gigantic, and it has a white light at each apex of the triangle and a large white light in the center. And it takes off and it zips out of sight. I mean, Mach something we don't know. And I mean, it takes off. And the biggest shock to me at that point was there was no audible report. There was nothing, like something going that fast, it's going to bust the sound barrier, you're going to hear it. And I didn't. I heard nothing. And at that point, again, it was just the buzzing of the generator lights out there. I watched this as I'm smoking my cigarette, seemingly do several touch and goes, but it doesn't go down at that little drop zone that it took off. It just comes back, stays there for a second, couple seconds, and then takes off again. Comes back, stays there for a couple seconds, takes off again. And at that point, I grew bored of it, and I was impressed, obviously. But I'm like, okay, this is our military testing some awesome technology. And, again, this isn't my wheelhouse, so I'm not, I'm not really realizing that this is some sort of 0 point energy or something that we've never seen before. So it's nothing like I've ever seen before. I've never seen any military or civilian bird have the capabilities that something like this has. Again, there's no signage, there's no visible cockpit, fuselage. There's nothing that I can see that would make me think it's any kind of traditional bird that we've seen or I've heard about.
In Destin,
Okay.
Florida. Right.
All right.
Right there in
Crazy.
Destin, Florida.
Yeah. Now I see why he was going to testify next to Dylan Borland. If not, Dylan Borland may have replaced him. I don't know. But how eerily similar the craft is that both of them saw. How eerily similar it was to that whistleblower who came witness, I guess, that came forward with UAP GERB that we talked about
Right.
a few weeks past. The dude I spoke to who had 5 triangular UFO sightings over Lemoore Naval Air. These triangles are everywhere.
And
It's
so consistent.
crazy.
Yep.
David Marler, we talked for 2 hours
That's
with
right.
him. Oh my God, the triangles, man.
You can literally write a book about triangles alone if you wanted to.
Yeah, Marler did it, and I'm sure there's
Exactly.
another one to follow.
Just keep at it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
So,
this guy, sure, I'd love to know why he didn't testify. Now, this is twice that this has happened to Corbell and Knapp. This is one of their witnesses that they trained to present their sightings. And this is the second time that something at the last minute happened. Remember the hearing before, their witness got yanked out from under them. I can't remember, was that Jake Barber or who was that witness supposed to be? We didn't know at the time. And then
Yeah.
they stuck the journalist in
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his
Schellenberger.
name. Schellenberger.
Yeah.
Yep. Schellenberger stepped in at the last minute with no direct knowledge. So I wonder what that game's about.
It does seem to be a game. It seems like they get to this point where they're ready, they're comfortable, they feel, and then like at the last
Boom.
second, something happens, someone tells them not to. Maybe they
Right.
got threats right before. I mean, we've seen this happen with Grush to an extent, you know,
Right.
with gosh, what's his name? Matthew Brown with
Right.
Immaculate Constellation. Like it happens. Dylan Borland, I'm sure, is feeling those slings and arrows right now as well.
Sure.
Now, I did want to tackle why he didn't testify at the hearing specifically, because that's what everyone wanted to know. It was in the title of the episode, so naturally everyone wanted to know. And all I found here throughout the, you know, the entire interview was, despite not appearing at the public hearing, Gockerell's written testimony was submitted and reviewed by congressional and intelligence officials, but he did not testify because, where do I have it here? It was for a really good personal reason.
Sounds like a threat.
That's it. That's all Corbell was willing
Sounds like a threat.
to say.
Yep.
Yeah, to say. Yeah.
Yep. Well, and
Um,
their lives do get turned upside down, but you would think making your way all the way to a congressional hearing room, you would have already assessed risk and benefit of doing what you're about to do,
mhm.
not standing there. So obviously something happened that caused a change, but as always, it begs more questions than it answers.
Yep. Well, and here's the important thing about this guy, which I think we do have to keep in mind. Unlike testifying in public, where he could risk, you know, classified information or something like that, he did testify with congressional members present in front of the FBI and other members of like what, I don't know if it was Arrow or Defense Department, but he did go into a room and have meetings with people. So we know it's on the record, and probably with people more in the know than just these congressional people who
Right.
would be at the hearing. So, I mean, there's that. The other big thing is we know in the past that people like, and politics aside, let's put politics aside, guys, for like 10 minutes, okay? Anna Paulina, Matt Gaetz, and several others, they went to Eglin, remember? To
I
like have a
remember that.
meeting.
They sure
And
did.
in the middle, they
They
went
sure did.
to get information about UFO sightings over Eglin Air Force Base. And in the middle of the meeting, the guy in charge got up and was like, I gotta pee. And he never came back.
And we're
He just
left.
left. So I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Was this guy Gockerell in that meeting with them? He was not.
Oh.
It was a separate meeting that he attended in Washington, actually. So that's interesting
It is.
that they went there to investigate quote unquote UAP sightings over Eglin. And that, you know, now we're getting a witness coming forward talking
Right.
about a UFO sighting at Eglin. Was he the impetus for them going to Eglin to investigate? Who knows?
Gosh, I hope we
Who
find
knows?
out. And, you know, maybe it was a safer thing around classified data for him to do what he did. It might not be nefarious, such as a threat at the last minute. Maybe he was able to feel comfortable that by talking to these people behind the closed doors with the security in place, etc., that was a safer way to make sure they knew what he knew without having to take risks around classified information like Mr. Borland had to do. And then Jeremy Corbell and Knapp had to then literally edit the video of Mr. Borland to say edited. You know, the screen would go dark. You couldn't even read lips. So maybe it was something along that line.
That is very interesting. Wow. I there was one other thing. Oh, what I find most interesting is all of these military guys are coming forward and they're mystified by the triangles. And the
Yes.
only UAP that Arrow seems to be super interested in and like mystified by themselves are the triangles, as stated by the former deputy director of Arrow, or deputy secretary. I don't remember what he was,
Whatever.
but that dude that came forward with the Washington Post a couple months ago, that's the ones that Arrow is most interested in too. So I really feel like this is going to be the year of the triangles going
Yep.
into 2026. Whatever comes next, another hearing, more witnesses coming forward, maybe whistleblowers. The triangles are going to play a huge part in that, as they always have. But
Right.
I mean, you know how personal this triangular UFO thing is to me. Obviously,
I get it.
having
I get
seen
it.
like it. Man, I want to know just as much as these guys, and the fact that they are like stunned by these
Yes.
craft and the way they defy the 5 observables and everything is just like
It's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
And then the uniformity among them. So
Yes,
not just the triangular shape, but the lights at each point of the triangle and a light in the center. You hear that constantly.
every
And
time.
I just have a hard time thinking that our military is outside of Destin, Florida, which everybody from Memphis, south of Memphis, goes to for summer vacation at the beach. The highly populated theme parks, water parks, I mean, you name it. Why would they be testing crazy secret craft there? That doesn't make sense. Now, he seems in the moment to have satisfied himself that that's what it was, but obviously after some time, he's rethinking what he saw.
Yeah,
I just can't imagine that kind of thing going on in that location.
yeah, and it makes you beg the question: does it want to be seen? Do they want to
Right,
see how many people report it,
right.
see it? Kind of like a lot of people think the Phoenix Lights was like a test on the public, like a psyop. Like, let's see how many people report this, how many see it. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly, it's crazy. This is a funny comment that Pat said. I can't believe he said he
Oh,
got bored watching it. How could you get bored? That was a weird statement in the interview.
exactly.
I kind of
It
got
was.
bored watch. It was hanging out for so long that I was like, look, Lost is on. I got to go see what happens on
Yeah.
Lost. That was
But,
a
you know,
show in 2006, right?
we hear this, like, from the Navy guys, that they're so used to the orbs, including those that come up out of the water, that they're absolutely nonplussed. They pay no attention. They just get used to it. Now,
Mm,
this guy doesn't have the history of seeing it routinely, but I do think, as many experiencers do, you come up with something in that moment that you think can help you explain it. And so I can see him trying to resolve that with experimental craft. We've got some cool stuff, only later it just doesn't make sense.
yeah. It's interesting. It was a great interview. I highly suggest people go watch that episode of Weaponized to
Yes.
get a little further into that. And look, the more these guys come forward, the more it's going to empower more. And that's, a lot of people may think that gets us nowhere. They're just stories. But look, they may just be stories right now, but these guys they're doing the right thing. They're going
That's
and
right.
reporting it to people who can then investigate it and see if these are top secret black projects with
Right.
misappropriated funds or if it's from Zeta Reticuli. So I don't know.
Exactly. But I do think there's something about it from all the experiencers we've listened to where there is some kind of selection process about which humans can see or hear or experience and who cannot. You
Mm,
know, later in the interview, he talks about this thing going up and down, I think 2 or 3 times. So he watched this crazy speed, going silent speed, taking it way up and then dropping it back down. So it meant for it
interesting.
to be seen, only to
Yeah.
be seen
Huh.
to
Oh
him.
man. Yeah, to him,
To
right?
him.
I mean, well, and then you got the whole thing of like there were floodlights out there. It
Right,
seemed like this was planned. It was a coordinated
right.
thing, and either they wanted him to see it or they were hoping nobody would. I
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
triangles,
Triangles.
triangles,
We
baby.
need to know. We need to
Uh,
know.
we need to know. I'm like, is there a triangle? There is. Of course there is. There's a triangle right on the front of this X-Files
There you go.
VHS I've got right there. Synchronicity, baby. I love it. Okay. We have one more story to cover,
All right.
Suzanne, before we get to your exciting weekend you have coming up next weekend.
Yes.
So let's get to this one. You brought this story to me, and this is fascinating.
It's a doozy, isn't it?
It is a doozy. Who is this gentleman on your screen if you're watching this on YouTube? This is Jim Shell. And you probably haven't heard that name before, but get used to it because I have a feeling this is not the last time we're going to hear from Jim Shell. Like I mentioned earlier, this dude is like blowing the whistle and he's doing it on his LinkedIn account. I love it. I love it. This is where we are at. Jim
and much
Shell,
like Mr. Mellon, I think Mr. Shell's had enough.
he's had enough,
I
apparently.
think he's had enough. Yep.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, I've got 4 logos up there. We've got the United States Space Force, United States Space Command, Space Reconnaissance Laboratory, like the NRO basically, and the United States Strategic Command. And this was first reported by Chris Sharp over at the Liberation Times after this guy went on his LinkedIn and said, enough is enough. There's some shady stuff going on with the Space Force, Space Command, NRO, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to talk about it. So Jim Shell is a veteran U.S. space operator and former chief scientist at the Space Innovation and Development Center. And he is alleging that a hidden security control system is undermining the authority of the U.S. Space Force and U.S. Space Command. He claims this system has been intercepting and rerouting data, interfering with the space domain awareness mission, and suppressing reporting of foreign activity in orbit. What else do we have here? In his LinkedIn statement on 29th of September, he says this secret system operates under unpublished rules, some of which predate a 2018 classification policy that he traces to the NRO and U.S. Strategic Command. Should I keep going or do you want to hop in here, Susan?
Oh, either way. He's fascinating.
Okay. I'll breeze through this and we'll debrief on it. Shell argues that attempts to reform or expose this system have repeatedly failed. He cites a May 2021 confrontation where leadership tried and allegedly failed to push changes, followed by another attempt in 2022 that was similarly blocked. He also points to internal probes that were stymied by lack of proper clearances of access and claims that Guardians, which is the Space Force personnel, who raised concerns were punished or labeled problematic under these opaque rules. Last paragraph. Beyond administrative control, Shell suggests that the system may be financially misused and even tied to unidentified aerial phenomena. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding,
That's
ding.
what everyone was waiting for.
Big ding, ding. There you go. Yeah.
He warns that anomalous detections might be filtered out before reaching commanders.
Oh,
and
now
that
we're
even,
seeing.
isn't that
Crazy.
He recounts having given a 4-hour classified interview covering multiple high security programs, but says no action followed. So if this is true, his claims raise critical questions about whether such internal secrecy is degrading U.S. space situational awareness and oversight. So this guy's going nuclear.
He is, in such a calm and focused way. But what I love, and I see, it's Joseph McCrory. He said, I love his risk assessment grid. So when you guys go to look this up, and we'll either put it on the Facebook page or in the Discord chat, whatever, afterwards, so you don't have to look at it. And you don't have to sign in to LinkedIn to see it. You just have to go to LinkedIn. But he has rated each of his allegations, and there are like 7 of them, with the level of confidence he has in that, and such as his comment that a security control system is, quote, supplanting the direction and the authority of the U.S. Space Force and U.S. Space Com. And then he puts in parentheses, high confidence.
High confidence.
And he goes through, and then on the last comment that you made about what he said it's related to the UAP, medium confidence. So there's a piece of his puzzle amiss there, unlike the high confidence. But he also said, and I find this concerning, that some of these guardians you mentioned are actually being indicted. So I assume that's in a military court that, they're doing the usual deal. Let's just ruin these lives and shut these people up. Attempts to bring forward the critical issue to leadership were obstructed. High confidence.
Okay. See, and it's funny. I just went to the LinkedIn where he posted
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and one of the first people to comment was a member of one of these groups. I forget which. It might be the Strategic Command, but I went to their profile, and yeah, they work for one of these 4 organizations, and they were basically discrediting Shell right on LinkedIn, being like, "There's a reason you're coming forward, and it's probably because you're a disgruntled employee, and there's a reason that you were let go or you were read out of things because you're probably crazy or something like that." So
We've
they're
heard this a
already
time or two, right? We've heard this a
already
time or
going
two.
after him.
They're already
Yep.
going. Yeah, they're already going.
Man.
Well, I would love to know what information is being rerouted and where it's being rerouted. And I hope that this is the subject of some FOIA stuff. I think it could be really interesting to see what you get. I'm sure it would be a fight to the finish. I'm sure it would involve litigation after denials of permission to release. And I find this odd. This isn't getting a lot of chitter chatter.
No.
I don't know if it's because it originated in LinkedIn and so many of us are not on LinkedIn, or if it's just, I don't understand it. This is big. This is big news, and it's reflective of a tremendous problem worthy of full investigation and openness. And yet here we sit. Crickets.
How much you want to bet this guy's going to be at a UAP hearing within the next year?
Maybe he'll surprise me at Seoul.
Yeah. He's going to
Just
be
get ready for me to blow up Messenger. If
It'll be your
blow up
keynote
your text
speaker.
messages. Yeah.
Sitting next to what's his name? Nell. It'll be Nell and Shell.
Carnell. I know.
Shell Nell variety hour.
Exactly.
That's what it'll be.
Exactly.
They're gonna do a little number tap dance or something. I don't know.
Well, I couldn't find this guy on Facebook or Twitter, but I will try again. I think we got to keep our eye on him like we do with so many to see what happens. I would love someone like Chris Mellon to reach out to him. Maybe they have. I don't have any way to know that, but
yeah, that's true. I mean, if it's already made it into the UFO community tangentially, and I mean, again, people should go to the Liberation Times. Chris Sharp did go into detail of who he thinks these superiors were that were kind of suppressing the information. He names and names and photo puts photos up.
Full ID, huh?
Me no talk good right now.
It's the cold.
It's the cold, guys. I'm on cough medicine, Guinness. What else I got here? I got cold coffee. I don't know. Yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens with him next.
What happens with you next,
Oh,
Suzanne? That's what I want to know. Where are you headed? What's going on? Tell us about the upcoming Soul Foundation Soul Symposium happening in beautiful, beautiful northern Italy.
Oh my gosh, the introvert is so excited to be headed to Stresa, Italy, which is maybe an hour's drive outside of Milan. And it's on Lake Maggiore. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's Lake Maggiore, something like that.
I think it's right, but you have to do the Maggiore.
Maggiore.
There we go.
But oh my gosh, the lineup is really good. You want me to tell you about some of these people?
Please do. Let me pull up the website too. Maybe I can share it while you're talking here.
Oh, and by the way, on the website, very good idea. Let's put that up because I found out a couple of days ago that you don't have to actually go to Stresa, Italy this year to attend. And that's a pretty pricey ticket for a number of reasons to actually be there in person, plus travel, plus hotels. But for $149, you can watch in real time on Zoom. Wow. And so anybody who's interested, follow along, send me your comments, let me know what you're hearing. And then Ryan and I will be going over all that for some updates as it rolls along.
Absolutely. Okay, so give it to us. What are you looking forward
Okay, well,
to?
we've got this wonderful combination of great big names and some of my favorites, and then some people I literally had to Google. Here's some of the big names, though: Beatrice Villarreal, Carl Nell, and then a fellow named Luc Dini, Dini, and he is an aeronautical engineer in France, and he is going to be speaking along with a fellow named General Pierre Becon, Bescond, who's a weapons engineer in France. So I think we're about to get a big French update. It's what it's sounding like to me.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, all right, my favorite anthropologist on the whole planet, Peter Skafish, is also going to be there. So I'm going to fangirl out for just a little while during that. No telling what kind of notes you'll get from me on that one. And he is going to be speaking with Diana Pasulka. So that ought to be, because I think she comes at it from a very humanistic perspective as well. So I think that's a really good combination. That could be quite interesting.
Yeah, she read the foreword to my last book. So talk about humanistic.
That's right. That's right. And then I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, but Carl Svozil, Svozil. He's an Austrian entanglement theorist. And he is, I think, a visiting professor at Berkeley. He's a visiting scholar. So I don't know a lot about him, but guess who he's followed by? Jacques Vallée.
Heck yeah.
I know. And then after that, Gary Nolan and Jake Barber are going to do a segment. That could be interesting. That could be interesting. Still a little bit scared of Gary Nolan, but
I ain't your UFO daddy.
I'm not your daddy. Do the effing homework. You'll have to look up last year's soul to get that. Yeah. All right. But then this is interesting. I don't know a lot about this movie called Valensoul 1965. It's about a specific incident, and I just hadn't had time to look it up yet.
I can show that.
Okay, tell me.
Valensoul is a famous French UFO case that took place in a lavender field that Jacques Vallée personally investigated. So, I mean, running with this French thing, it sounds like they're really pushing that. Wow, cool. There's a new film about it. Okay.
There's a new film coming out, so we're going to get to watch that one night. All right, and then there is Fabio De Masi. He's a German-Italian member of the Parliament, of the European Parliament. He is going to be with a fellow named Dr. Christian Peters, who's a writer on why we're so interested in UFOs and how they connect to national security issues. So that'll be interesting too. Then we have a fellow that I think is a Bigfoot guy. You may recognize him, Michael Bolander, Bohlander.
Rings a bell. That's interesting.
Yeah.
They got a Bigfoot guy at Seoul?
I think so. Now, there may be something else to him, but when I Googled him, I got a whole lot of Bigfoot instead of, UFOs or UAP, that sort of thing, or the military whistleblowers.
Okay.
And then he is going to be on the stage with a gal named Maura Mendrila. I'm probably butchering these names. And this is interesting because I have never heard of her until I Googled her. She is an Intelcom whistleblower. What's she going to tell us? Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Tim Gallaudet. Hope we get to hear a whole lot about USOs instead of UFOs. And this Miss Misra. This is terrible. Jacob Huck Misra. I don't know if you know who he is. He's an astrobiologist.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. And then I love Anna Brady Estevez, and she's going to be speaking with a fella named Jonathan Berta, Berte. Jonathan is one of the founders of the Soul Foundation and a Belgian artificial intelligence entrepreneur. And of course, Anna Brady Estevez is a scientist and a deep tech writer. So that ought to be an interesting duo to hear together. And then Roberto Pignati is the president of Italy's National UFO Center. So that is probably going to just be a status on what's going on in Italy, which I think will be very interesting. Mm-hmm. But then the last day, obviously Dr. Aya Whiteley, but look, Dylan Borland and Jeff Nucitelli.
Whoa.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to that duo. Our most recent testifiers. And of course, Mr. Borland is the military whistleblower, went through everything he needed to be able to testify at the last hearing. And Nusatelli testified as well. So that should be a good lineup.
Yeah, that is a hell of a conference. I mean, I'm jealous, of course. Like, I finally come back to Europe and you're over here, Paul Kimball's over here, and I'm not going to see either of you.
I know,
But,
not fair. So not fair.
Well, hey, if you guys are too exhausted to head back to the United States after this, and you got to make a trip to Scotland, I'll be here.
I'll find you.
Yeah,
I'll find you.
I'll make you cookies this time.
Okay, good. That's so good. I saw those cookies the other day. They popped up on our little automated, what do those frames that they rotate, the electronic frames.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, that sounds like a hell of a trip. And look, like, I love this idea of Soul, like what they're doing with like mixing and merging, whether it's like the military intelligence aspect, the philosophical aspect, the technology as like this triangle of discourse that they're creating. Boom, the triangle comes back yet again. Is just fascinating. And I think these are where some of the deepest conversations on the UAP topic are taking place at Soul. So I think it's awesome.
Serious conversations.
Yeah. And I hope I can make it someday, but at least we have you going. You're going to be our boots on the ground correspondent. So we'll see if maybe you can pull a few of these people aside and get some
comments,
comments, mini interviews, or they'll be like, Ryan Sprague show. Ew, never. Yeah, let's see.
I don't think so. I think they're going to know who you are.
I hope not. There's not a person on there that I think hates me. Not yet. Not yet.
Good. That's good.
Awesome. Well, that sounds super exciting.
I'm excited.
Can't wait to hear all of your reporting. We'll be keeping up diligently with it. And then obviously we'll do a full review of it when you get back.
Exactly.
And you sleep for like 48 hours straight.
Exactly.
Cool.
It's going to go all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and the morning of Monday. So unlike the full day Saturday, full day Sunday, full day Friday, full day Saturday event last year. So you and I could do that live stream summary of it on Sunday. It's not going to work this year.
No,
we're going to have to, we'll have to just wing it later.
We will. That's what we do best with somewhere in the live stream. That's for darn sure. Awesome. Well, I will let you go back in the chat as we close things up here. But anything else? Where can we find you? All that good stuff. Give it to us.
Well, find me primarily on Facebook, Suzanne Westerman Landers, or on Twitter, although there's a bunch of political ranting, at C Suzanne Landers on Twitter. And just message me. And if I don't respond to your friend request, it's because I haven't been able to connect you to the show. So if you send one, message me, and that way you'll make sure I don't hit the delete on the request.
Yeah. I've definitely accidentally done that.
I know, and then you can't fix it. It's like,
I know. Gosh, I didn't mean to do it. I just swear to God, I didn't.
Now I know who you are.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, I'll let you go.
Okay.
And I'll close things up here. Let's go to the poll.
The poll you remembered. Oh my gosh, Pat Gallagher didn't have to tell me, and I didn't have to tell you.
He did not.
It's a Christmas miracle in October.
I love it. It's a spooky miracle.
It is a spooky miracle. Bye.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. I'll see you in the chat. Amazing. She's the best. Absolute best. Always bringing the most hard-hitting stories to me every week. So I love it. Let's go to the poll, guys. What did I ask? Oh, 3i Atlas. Perfect. So I asked over on, can you see me? I don't know what's on screen. Okay, you can. I asked over on YouTube, what is 3i Atlas? And I gave you guys only 3 choices. Choice 1, alien ship. Choice 2, big ass comet. Or choice 3, something else entirely. Interesting results. Out of 91 votes, 25% of you still believe it could be an alien ship. Awesome. You guys are hanging on for dear life. I love it. The want to believe is real. And you could be right. 42% of you say it's a big ass comet, and 33% of you say it's something else entirely. Now, that's very broad on my part of putting that choice up, but I'd like to know, what is that something else? Put it in the live chat, put it in the comments below the video, so people will know after we close things out here. What is that something else that you think 3i Atlas could be? Let us know in the comments below or in the live chat right now as well. So there's the poll, guys. Jamie, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I haven't been commenting much because I've been cleaning my kitchen, but I love the show. Thank you. I love that. I love knowing like people are doing their thing, hanging with us on Sunday and just watching and listening. I do the same thing with my podcasts and my live streams. It's awesome. Like, yeah, it just still astounds me that there's so many of you. 803 of you have watched across all platforms tonight, which is just unbelievable. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all our super chatters. Once again, I'll thank you at the end as well. But I want to let you know what's coming to you in just a couple hours on the Somewhere in the Skies podcast. We have a fascinating interview that Suzanne and I conducted with space reporter Becky Ferreira. She just came out with a brand new book called First Contact, the story of our obsession with aliens. It is a beautiful coffee table book, massive, awesome illustrations, incredible information. And basically, Becky tracks our curiosity of aliens from the dawn of time up until today and how we look at that. The idea of aliens and our search for aliens and making first contact throughout the decades, throughout these centuries. And we get into some really cool stuff like aliens in pop culture, are having possibly found alien life, whether it's microbes and things like that. The SETI and MEDI and everything. We talk about all of it. Becky was such an awesome guest, and we just had a really good conversation. It's one I will remember for a very long time. So you guys are going to hear that in just a couple hours on the Somewhere in the Skies podcast. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you're subscribed. You'll be the first to hear it. If you want to listen to it right now, it is available, early access, over on Patreon or Apple Premium. You can hit that subscribe button at the top of your Apple feed. Whoa, sorry about that. Feed. Mid cough there. Or go to patreon.com/somewhere skies. You can listen to this episode right now. Otherwise, it'll be available for you in just a couple hours, probably. And then was there one more thing? Oh, yeah. So this is pretty cool. Suzanne and I are going to be interviewing a gentleman by the name of Tiago Tichetti. I believe I pronounced that right. I wrote it phonetically here on my notes here. So Tiago is a Brazilian UFO researcher, and he is coming out with a brand new book called UFO Attacks in Brazil, the true story of the most terrifying events in the history of ufology. So yeah, what I want from you guys is your listener questions. So if you want to ask Tiago any questions, you can email them. Our email is in the show notes, ryan.sprague51@gmail.com. And we're going to be interviewing him in just a couple weeks, so be sure to get those in as soon as possible. He attended the Brazilian UFO hearing that just took place. We were going to talk about that tonight, but I thought we would save it for the interview because Tiago was actually there in the room. So we'll get his, brutally honest thoughts and opinions on that hearing. And this guy knows his guys, Garrett says. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to him. It'll be my first time, I believe Suzanne as well, of talking to Tiago. And we're going to hear all about Brazilian UFO attacks and probably one of Suzanne's favorite UFO waves in history, the, I guess, infamous Colores incidents and the night of the UFO as it's been coined. So I'm really looking forward to talking to Tiago. So get your listener questions in. You can email us again. And hey, if you're on Patreon, you get priority to ask Tiago your questions. So your questions go right to the top. We will ask your questions if you're on Patreon. The other ones, they kind of get bumped down. So if you want to make sure your question gets asked, join our Patreon for as low as $1 a month, £1 a month, whatever. That's less than a cup of coffee. Head on over to patreon.com/somewhere skies, and you can do that. Awesome. That's all we got, guys. What a show. What a show. We even came in under 2 hours. That's new for us. I love it. I love it. We done good, Suzanne. We done good. Especially with that 25 minutes of me in the beginning. Hopped up on cough medicine and Guinness. Not a good combination, as you witnessed tonight. Cool. So once again, I want to thank all of our super chatters. Michelle, Super Queen, Garrett, Joseph, Ian, Michelle again, Robert, Michelle again, JV, Lucy Kaplan, and Sir Gosbo. Thank you so much, guys. Oh, those are just comments, but I thank you for those amazing comments. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Did we reach our goal? I don't know. I can't count. We did. Awesome. We reached our goal. 10 super chats. Awesome. I saw we got a new Patreon too. I just went and checked over there, a new patron. So thank you to them as well. Cool. We will hopefully see you next week. At least I will. Suzanne will be at Seoul. So yeah, she's gonna be wheeling and dealing there. She's got business cards now, guys. Somewhere in this guy's business cards. We are upping it over here, baby. I love it. I'm going to London Comic-Con at the end of the month, and I made these awesome Somewhere in the Skies flyers. I'll show them to you next week. That I'm going to be handing out at London Comic-Con. Get them nerds to come over to our UFO community. Love it, love it. So yeah, so much going on. I'm so excited about the future of the show. Be sure to head on over to Apple Podcasts, rate and review the show. Go to Spotify, rate us. Again, what is that code word? You guys remember that you're going to put in your Spotify comments or your Apple review? Belgian waffles. Boom. That's going to do it. Oh, that sounds so good. I think I want a Belgian waffle now. Oh, sounds delicious. Okay. Just checking your comments one more time, guys, before I let you go. We're good. We're going to show all these as we close things out, guys. So, see you in just a couple hours on the podcast. See you next week. Just me, probably. Maybe we'll get a guest. I'll see. Maybe Jane will join us for the very first time ever. I'm putting her on the spot. Will my partner join us on the live stream? We'll see. 10 more super chats right now. Go. We'll get Jane on the show. I'm kidding. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on Somewhere in the live stream for your latest UFO news and space news. God knows what's going to happen in the next week, but we will be here to cover it. So from me to you, thank you very much for joining us. And remember, keep your feet on the ground, but never stop searching. Somewhere in the skies.
There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide at all.